Meeting of the Senate Agriculture and Consumer Affairs Committee to order. Senator Eccles, would you mind starting us off in prayer?
I'll be happy to. Let us pray. Dear God, thank you for today, Lord. Thank you for letting us all be here, God. Please be with our minds as we do the work for your people, God. And please, this week especially, be with our farmers, Lord. I know we've got a lot of troubling and worrisome days coming ahead with the cold weather, and I pray that you put your protective hands over us. In your name I pray, amen.
Amen, that's for sure. All righty, the first order of business real quick. We have two appointments that we have to review. One is for the Agricultural Commodity Commission for equine. Ex officio appointment, it's Harry Thompson. Senator Watson, I believe Mr. Thompson is from your neck of the woods. Could you, what are you, 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I know Mr. Terry well. He's served on the Equine Commission for some time now and has been an excellent member and comes up here every time they meet. And at the appropriate time, I'd like to make a motion to accept Mr. Harry Thompson as nomination for Equine Commission.
All righty. We have, I believe it's appropriate time. We've made a motion. We have a second. Any further discussion? All right. All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed? Okay. Mr. Thompson is reappointed to the Equine Commission unanimously from this committee. We have one other, which is the Georgia Grown Commodity Commission appointment. That's Mr. Russ Moon. Russ Moon, I apologize, Senator Anderson. Russ Moon is a fourth-generation farmer in Madison County. Does anyone on the committee?
Second.
There we go. All righty. We got a motion from Senator Eccles and a second from Senator Anderson. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? All right. Mr. Moon is, he's got a good first name. He is reappointed to the good man to the Georgia Grown Commodity Commission. Okay, Great American. That's exactly right. All righty. We have three bills on the agenda today. The first bill that we're going to hear is Representative Gaines. This is going to be a hearing only today. And there's been some work on this bill along with Senator Parent, I know, over the last few days. So it's House Bill 528, Representative Gaines. Is your mic on?
I think so.
All
Thank
right.
you, Mr. Chairman.
Good deal. Good deal. Go ahead, sir. The floor is yours.
Well, I appreciate it, and good to be with you all this afternoon. House Bill 528, I'll give you just a general overview of the legislation, the goals behind it, and then go through the specifics of the language and let Senator Parent talk about. She added a portion, a bill that I believe you all have seen in this committee before. Felt like this was a good vehicle to work both these good pro-consumer pieces of legislation together. So the goal behind House Bill 528 is when you sign up for these online subscriptions, that you sign up online, you get charged monthly. And then in order to cancel, you got to call and sit on hold for hours and hours and hours. It's impossible to cancel. So the intent behind this bill is if you sign up for something online, you got to be able to cancel it online. And secondarily, if you sign up for something online and you get your credit card charged every month, is that the company who's charging you or your online subscription should just send you notice that they're going to charge your credit card versus just charging you over and over and over again. And many folks I've heard from that don't even know that they're getting charged, and they go back and check their credit card statement a year later and realize they've been getting charged $5 a month for something that they forgot they had signed up for. So that's the intent behind the bill. Several other states have passed similar legislation that will help to make sure that these auto renewal subscriptions don't get out of hand. I'll just give you an example of one that I just pulled off the internet this morning. This is a gym membership, which if you can't tell, I haven't been to the gym a whole lot, so that's not my intent for bringing the bill. But for most locations, this is straight off a gym membership's website, very commonplace throughout the state of Georgia. For most locations, you can send a letter to your home club requesting to cancel. You can stop by your home club and cancel in person. Even though you're able to sign up online, again, it can be challenging requiring you to send a letter, and several other places have done that. So I'll walk through the mechanics of the bill briefly, and then again, maybe Senator Parent can come up and talk about her bill. But the first lines 30 through 39 is just kind of legislative intent language. And then lines 40 to 59 is just definitions that are, common definitions of these various arrangements. And we did work with several industry partners on this that had that we worked through some of the concerns that they had. I know that some folks still have some concerns. We can talk about that maybe if other folks come forward. But line 60 through 64 is really the meat of the legislation. Just says that if a consumer joins one of these subscription-based models online, that they have to be able to cancel online. And then it walks through some of the specifics, how that might look, including allowing, certainly a website could force a consumer to have to log in order to cancel. If they can't log in, it walks through just kind of some basic mechanics of that. And then moving forward to line 104, that's kind of the second objective of the bill, which is just requiring notice to the consumer before charging a credit card, which most good auto renewal companies do that, is they give notice or they send a receipt of a payment each month, but some do not. And then lines 119 to 128 simply says that if a website gives you a gift as part of your free subscription, that they can't come back and try to charge you after that. Lines 129 to 135, that this just applies to the initial order. And then lines 136 to 149, this is where there's been a lot of discussion over the last week about exemptions to the bill. The initial reason for having these exemptions to the bill is these various organizations and entities are regulated by other entities, such as the Georgia Public Service Commission, Department of Agriculture, Federal Communications Commission, and there's others included here. The thought process being that these industries are already regulated by other areas, and those industries, those commissions or federal agencies do already oversee these. I'd be open to the committee's desire whether they want to keep the exemptions in the bill or remove them. Like, for example, the Federal Communications Commission would exempt most cable companies, would exempt cable companies from the bill, which there's been a lot of discussion on that. So I would defer to the committee if they want to keep those exemptions or discuss removing them. And then lines 150 to 163 just says that the Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division would be the entity that would oversee implementation of this bill. And that's my part of the legislation. I don't know if now would be. I'm happy to take questions, or we can have Senator Parent come up and just walk through Section 2 of the bill.
Okay. Do we have any questions for Representative Haynes? Okay. Senator Summers, 8.
Representative Gaines, if you counsel online, just want to make sure I'm with you, and I like the bill, okay? You counsel online. Here's my question. Let's just say that, will each business set up their own cancellation policy, like you have 30-day, 60-day cancellation? Because if somebody says, I want to cancel in the middle of a month, and they've already got their their goods.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. You've got that.
Yeah, so I mean, if you've already paid for them, that wouldn't change any of the mechanics of this bill. So currently how you cancel would be, in terms of the time of month and those sort of things, wouldn't be affected by this bill. What it's saying, though, is if you sign up for something online, you just have to be able to cancel online. But it wouldn't change the mechanics of if it's a 30-day subscription, and you have to pay for the whole 30 days, then that wouldn't change anything related to that.
Follow up, Mr. Chairman. Sure. I'm with you. Just
Sure.
making sure we have a time there. I don't want them calling
Right.
all of us and saying, I tried to cancel, I can't cancel. I called on the 29th, and I got another delivery for the the 1st or the 5th or whatever.
Right. I think how I would understand this to play out is, let's say you try to cancel in the middle of a month. That month that you've already paid for, you're going to have to keep paying. You've already paid that subscription, but you would be able to cancel for the next month, if that
If
makes
it hadn't
sense.
already gone, if it hadn't already gone out or something.
Correct. That's right.
Okay. I mean, normally, like, I know people that get certain meds, and their meds come in, they get on these, for lack of a better word, herbal stuff, and then it comes out, they mail them they start mailing them out on the 25th or 26th, and you get them on the, through the 10th, that type of thing.
What kind of herbal stuff?
Herbs, the good stuff. Non-pharmaceutical stuff, let me rephrase that. Thank you. Things that you don't have to have a prescription for. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to make sure.
And I believe that this wouldn't change anything related to that. Again, it says that if you do subscribe to it online, you'll be able to cancel it on just like if right now you're able to call and cancel over the phone instead of having to be able to do that over the phone or in person, you'll be able to do it online. But I can, I know this is a hearing only, so I'd be happy to get a little more information on
Just
that.
making sure.
Yeah, I
we'll
don't
get
think there'd be any
calls.
issues, but it is worth certainly checking into.
All right, thank you. We have any further questions for Representative Gaines? All right, Senator Anderson, number 6.
Representative, would this take, if this passes, it'd take effect July the 1st?
We actually have it January 1 of next year to give businesses a little more time if needed to comply with the law.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Any further questions for Representative Gaines? Okay. I know there's some interested parties, Representative Gaines, and just to let members of the committee know, we may, depending on what the timeline is, we may have to have a called meeting later in the week. But we've been in talks and working with Representative Gaines. Appreciate your bill, appreciate
Absolutely.
your intent, and thank you for presenting today.
Absolutely, thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, Sam, I'm sorry. Representative Gaines, Senator Watson has a question.
Not really just a question. I know we've had this same problem with service agreements in the past, and I think there was a bill to deal with service agreements.
That's right. And you might know a little thing
A
about
couple
it.
years
Didn't
ago,
you write it?
where people were signing long-term service contracts and they couldn't get out of them, and then they were committed for 5 years. So I think this is a really good bill, and a lot of people have a lot of trouble with this. So just wanted to.
Thank you. And thank you for your work on that legislation back when you were in the House.
Yeah, that's right.
All right,
Thank
good
you.
deal. Thank you, Senator Watson. All righty, now we have Senator Parent. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I have been working with Representative Gaines, who's been very accommodating. The legislation that we passed out of this committee dealing with the restaurant industry and the third-party delivery apps just didn't make the call on crossover day. So in concert with members of the committee, Representative Gaines, and the Lieutenant Governor's office, everyone was in agreement that we could hook what is actually a little bit of a slimmed down version of that piece of legislation, and that everyone was in agreement on, and have it ride along with Representative Gaines's consumer protection bill. So what you'll see, the main difference is that this part of the bill, which is beginning on line 165, is really just the segment that would require the written confirmation from a restaurant before a third-party delivery app could utilize that restaurant's likeness, menu, or otherwise, represent that there is an affiliation, an association, or a business relationship between the restaurant and the third-party app. If there is none, there would have to be the written confirmation part, and then the enforcement part that we had is in there. This is really the piece that's the most meaningful, as well as the piece that is the most given to enforceability. So it really makes sense to move forward just with this piece. I've also worked with DoorDash and Uber Eats, who are very well represented down here at the Capitol, and they have indicated no problems with this language. So I think everyone's in agreement and hoping that we can get this piece done, if that's the will of the committee. Happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions for Senator Parent? No? All right.
Thank you,
Good
colleague.
deal. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All righty. Appreciate both of you for presenting, and like I said, Representative Gaines, you and I will be talking, and all right, thank you very much. Let's see here. Where's that? The next bill that we're going to hear is House Bill 545, Representative Cannon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. bring to you House Bill 545, which I think is a pretty non-controversial bill, but it establishes the Commodity Commission for citrus. Citrus is a growing industry in our state. I was not aware of this when I got this bill, but I also appreciate my good friend Sam Watson carrying this bill in the Senate for me. In around 2013, there was about 4,500 commercial citrus trees in the state, and today there's about 500,000 citrus trees in the state across 45 different counties. So it's grown pretty considerably in the last several years. Last year, 2022, approximately 11.5 million pounds of citrus produced in the state. 2025 projected 45 million pounds of, 90 million pounds of citrus produced in the state. So pretty phenomenal growth. This is probably, I think, the 14th Commodity Commission we'll be creating. Similar to the other commodity commissions, the bill is only a page long. Received 172 votes in the House. It was my first bill, so I appreciate the support on that. But just like every other commodity commission, it creates basically a commission of the Farm Bureau President, the Agricultural Commissioner and his designee, a member of the House and Senate, and then those 4 select 5 at large for the Commodity Commission. So very little fiscal impact. The purpose of the Commodity Commission is to promote research, education, and to market the product. So the citrus growers that voluntarily participate in the Commodity Commission will be assessed kind of not a fee, but a fee to provide funding for the agricultural research, promotion, and education. So it's a voluntary deal, and it's a good bill, and I appreciate your support for it. I'll be open to any questions.
Representative Cannon, this
Here
is
it
your
comes.
first bill?
Mr. Chairman, yes, it is.
Okay, you may have some questions. I don't know. Does anybody have any questions?
Does your senator have any questions? Give him a question.
I'm not sure these questions will be worth the squeeze, but I'll try it.
Touche. All right, we have Senator Eccles.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, Senator, I appreciate the question, if you got one.
So are you a citrus farmer?
I'm not a citrus farmer.
So why are you carrying this bill?
I think it's a good bill.
Okay, good answer. What's your favorite Georgia citrus product to eat?
Probably the Satsuma. It's a little bit sweeter than everybody else's.
Mine too, I agree. Good answer.
Thank you.
Senator Summers.
The first bill? Now, I want you to know, the Senate's never bad on anybody on their first bill. You know that.
Yes, sir.
Never bad. Now, do you get to use your feet to crush the grapes in the, I mean, have you participated in that yet?
No, sir, I have not. I don't expect to either.
I'm tickled to death you said that.
Yes, sir.
Not going to. So first bill. So who is the big citrus grower down there in your Moultrie area down
There's
there?
a lot. There's the Franklins. The Speaker has some citrus. Matter of fact, and it goes as far north as Effingham County. But the Asian citrus psyllid, which is the vector that's causing the greening of citrus, is pushing the product further into the state from Florida. So because we have kind of a mild winter, the mild winter actually sweetens the produce a little bit better than it was in further south in Florida, where there's warmer temperatures.
Will this freeze possibly come in? Is that some of your people be
Well,
affected with it?
it's out of season now. It's the season's from October to December. So, but it probably would help if it was the actual season right now.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any further questions for? Okay, Senator Anderson.
Representative,
Yes, sir.
what do you got against people that has less than 5 acres?
Well, the reason behind that
Don't
was
you want everybody to vote for you?
yes, I do. Appreciate that question. The actual reason was they tried to draw a line between kind of what's commercial and what is private or personal. And the consensus from the Georgia Citrus Association was that 5 acres was kind of the cutoff.
Good answer.
Yes, sir.
Representative Cannon, do you really appreciate that question?
I really appreciate it. Yes, sir. I can peel the love in here right now.
What number are you? Number 4. Senator Jackson.
Mr. Chairman, at the appropriate time, I'd like to end his misery and vote to pass.
We have, I think it is an appropriate time, and we have a motion from Senator Jackson and a second from Senator Anderson. Is there any further discussion? All right.
Appreciate the help from all the folks here in the room backing this bill, and Senator Watson.
Took all these people to,
Yeah, and I will say this: I've been on the until I got elected to the Senate. I was one of the founding members of the Blueberry Commission when we started it years ago, and I know how much good it's done for the blueberry industry and for research. And so,
them blueberries had to get in.
I've got a lot of family members that grow citrus. So I
Yes, sir.
appreciate you bringing this bill. So,
Yes, sir.
At this time, all in favor, please raise your hand. All right, all opposed? All right, the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Mr.
it.
Kent. Thank you. Good job. All righty. Now on to House Bill 132, Representative Jenkins. Let's see here. The floor is yours, sir.
All right, good afternoon. I'm pleased to be here with you all this afternoon. I'm bringing House Bill 132. This bill was passed through the House and the Senate last year in slightly different versions. It didn't make it back to the House for an agree, though. So we're bringing it back out this year. What this bill does is it allows ungraded lumber to be used in uninhabited barns and outbuildings in residential and agricultural areas. Currently, the Georgia Building Code does not allow this, although it is commonplace. Passing this bill will put the counties that do allow this practice in accordance with building codes in the state of Georgia. And the county I represent actually doesn't allow this product to be used at this time because it's not in accordance with Georgia law. So in its current form, I'm not aware of any opposition to this. The Georgia Forestry Association helped us get this into the current form. The ACCG has no opposition to it, and Georgia Farm Bureau is actually in support of this.
Good deal. Good deal. Do we have Senator Watson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know you've got in here non-habitable. So if I wanted to build a office or storage room or anything out of lumber that I grew on my farm, as long as I'm not living there on a daily basis, what is habitable like?
Habitable usually involves sleeping, is my understanding. If you go to bed there, you live there, because obviously a barn and outbuildings, you are in them. But that's my understanding of habitable.
So an office space, as long as you're not sleeping there.
Correct. That's my understanding.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Senator Jackson, floor.
And just following up on that, just to be clear, could an animal habitate in that building? So can you
Correct.
build a horse barn
Correct.
and have the animals there? Okay.
Right. That is correct.
All right, do we have any further questions for Representative Jenkins? All righty, we have a motion do pass from Senator Summers. Do we have a second? We have a second from. It's the shortest bill I've ever seen. It is a short bill. We appreciate that. I have a second from Senator Watson. Is there any further discussion? All right, all those that are in favor, please indicate by raising your hand.
Which one? Which hand?
Right hand. Yeah. All those opposed, raise your left hand. Are you opposed? Okay. We have. Senator Jackson's only dissenting vote, so you have passed out of Ag Committee. And who's going to be carrying this bill for you in the Senate?
Well, I have some ideas. I'll let you know a little later. We'll check on that.
All right, good deal. Thank you, Representative Jenkins.
All right, I appreciate y'all's time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Who's carrying the other? Who's carrying the other?
Senator Watson.
Watson,
All right, if there's not any further business from members of the committee, we're going to call this meeting of the Senate Ag and Consumer Affairs Committee adjourned. All right, thank y'all. Thank you for your time.